Hello, I'm going to start this out with a mini review. D&D Icons of the Realms, Adventure in a Box, Mind Flayer Voyage. Obviously, I did not buy the entire box. The MSRP of $80 was just a bit too steep for me. However, I did find a buyer who split this up and was selling the set piecemeal, so I was able to get some of the terrain for a reasonable price, and that's honestly what really interested me about this, the terrain. I can get Mind Flayer miniatures that I can paint myself that will look better for a much cheaper price, so I was really happy to find just the terrain. Let's talk about it. I must say, excellent sculpts in general, especially with the Intellect Devourers. It's very difficult to get good sculpts full of character when you're talking about miniatures this small. And the durability of the material itself is very good. These are not going to break if you drop them on carpet, which I cannot say for a lot of types of miniatures. WizKids is hit or miss, but these miniatures are durable. So is this set worth $80? I'm not sure. I certainly will not pay that. I know that WizKids sets generally go on sale up to 50% off and beyond frequently. But the biggest issue is the pool. Yes, the iconic Mind Flayer pool. The miniature that I got, very underwhelming. What I had thought I was going to get and what I got were two very different things. You can see the translucent bit on top is very subpar, which is surprising because WizKids generally does very good with this sort of stuff. Now, you might be confused because you're looking at the image on the right and say, well, what are you talking about? Like, this looks cool, maybe you got a dud. No, all of the actual physical miniatures are going to look like mine. What you're looking at on the right there is a 3D render. Yes, it's been an industry standard now for a while for miniatures to be sold using 3D rendered images. So this is what's going to be on the box. This is what's going to be on pretty much every online retailer's website to represent what you get in the box. But this is not the same. These are 3D renders, which are, I would say, very different than what you actually get in the box. I honestly feel like this is why my channel was so popular for a while with the miniature reviews, because I actually showed you the physical miniatures and what they looked like on the table. But hey, 3D renders are here to stay as an industry standard, and frankly, they've gotten amazing. I don't even know if the Mind Witness here is a 3D render, like the others, or if they actually took a picture of the Mind Witness. I honestly can't tell. I was looking at it, and the brush strokes actually look so good. Not so much on the other miniatures, though. And you can kind of see the difference between the painting steps. The one on the right, obviously, the paint is on there perfectly because it's digital paint. And then the one on the left, you can see the washing steps are clearly sloppy. And it really shows you the difference between something that is perfectly rendered versus something that is imperfectly painted on an assembly line. Which is, this is how pre-painted miniatures are going to be made. But showing you this perfectly lit, glossy version versus what you actually get, it is, I think, a little bit deceiving. It's gotten to the point where the sculpt itself, you can tell exactly what the sculpt is going to be from the 3D render. But you are buying a supposed premium miniature, so the painting processes are equally as important. And of course, with Mind Flayer stuff, you expect the terrain to look glossy and organic. Some of the pictures that I've seen of the physical miniatures do have more gloss to them, but none of the ones that I actually bought are as glossy as the 3D renders would lead you to believe. Now, of course, this is an industry practice, so that means that they have warnings that tell you that what you see on the box is going to differ from the actual product within the box. And this is nothing new. Hasbro had similar warnings when they showcased miniatures. However, I would like to note that the preview images that you saw on the old Hasbro miniatures really did look much more similar to what you actually got in the box. I don't think many people would look at the preview image and then somehow be disappointed, because again, what you were looking at was actual production miniatures that were painted up for display purposes. I don't believe Hasbro used any 3D renders, but again, this was years ago when practices were different. And to sum up, I would like to say that I'm not talking in a vacuum here. I'm well aware of other companies that are using 3D renders that are all painted up to promote their products, and they're so good that you can't really tell the difference between a 3D render and the actual miniature, and more importantly, the final painted product that you get is going to consistently look much more like the preview images from all these companies. I'm using just this Resident Evil liquor toy just as an example of something that's in the same price range as the Mind Flayer set, and what they show from the 3D render, which again is one of these little 3D renders that you really can't tell it's a 3D render anymore. But my point is that the end product really does closely resemble what's on the box and what's in the preview images, much more so than some of the recent WizKids miniatures. And that's why I have to give a massive shout out to Minis Gallery. It's literally a fan site that scours the internet for actual pictures of the actual miniatures to showcase, because they understand people want to see what the miniature is actually going to look like rather than just the render. Again, I was kind of priced out of doing this because I can't just keep on buying product. I don't have the money to do so. Every once in a while, when I can get stuff piecemeal, I will keep on doing reviews where you can see the actual miniatures and whatnot. But you know what? Minis Gallery, you can go there, and whenever they can find good quality pictures of the actual physical miniatures, they will showcase them so you know exactly what you're going to get when you buy stuff. Anyways, old man yelling at cloud here, I guess. Everybody understands the basics of all this, but I felt like doing a video about it because it seems like it is getting to the point where there are alternatives out there. Many alternatives, including Monster Hunter stuff, where the price range that seemed incredible is now, well, it's actually pretty reasonable, considering if you do get something pre-painted from another property, like Monster Hunter, you're probably going to get a much superior painting process than you're going to get from a pre-painted premium miniature from WizKids. So, unless you really, really want specific D&D monsters, I would say, you know, learn how to pick up a brush and do some basic painting stuff, because I guarantee you, as a novice painter, your efforts are going to be superior to the current method that WizKids uses. That's just the case. But again, I'm going to be here helping you be creative when it comes to miniatures, helping you find those cheap miniature alternatives, letting you know what the deal is, showing you pictures of actual product and whatnot, and who knows what's coming to the future, but it's a great time if you like unpainted miniatures. There are so many alternatives out there, and painting has never been easier. And again, you can always just go through the tried and true method that I started out with buying the cheap craft paint and the camel hair brushes from your local craft store. But hey, you don't even have to do that anymore, because there are reasonably priced brushes and paints probably available at your local hobby store. And like all my videos said, most of my paint was bought on deep clearance through various online retailers and whatnot. So be on the lookout for future videos where I tell you where are the best ways to find the cheapest alternatives to D&D miniatures, because it kind of seems like the quality is not going up, but the price certainly is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Back in my day, you could get an Oni Hunter miniature on Miniature Market for $1. And it was even cheaper on Troll and Toad, but you couldn't get free shipping, so you still had to deal with that. But the shipping was so much cheaper back then, too. And everybody was selling the Star Wars miniatures for nothing. You could get the knobby white spider for $2. Try getting that today. All the Mandalorian fans buying the knobby white spiders because of that dumb show. Oh, it's not like it was back in the day. Oh, it was so much better back then. Oh.